Hi guys, it's Cindy Leach, your Polymer Clay tutor. In today's PCT product demo, I'm going to show you all about a product called the BeeSPutty Plastic. And it is an oven hardening modeling putty that is meant for sculpting. Now, this is an unusual clay. The artist himself, he's a sculptor. His name is Stefan Neihues-Ellermann. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He has a company called Studio Works, and he is a sculptor, and he lives in Germany, and he's designed a clay that will harden in the oven at a pretty low temperature, actually, around the range that that Fimo does. But it has completely different properties. I'm going to show you a little bit about it. It's called BeeSPutty because it mimics beeswax. So any of you that do sculpting in beeswax, you'll be familiar with the type of properties that's with it. And it's a lot different than the polymer clays that I've ever worked with. It is stickier. It has a lot of different properties, and let me just show you first what it's like and everything. Okay, so he originally started off with some with these kind of gray colors. They are he's got them in 3 different formulas, and now he's added a new one. One is the regular BeeSPutty, and it is a gray color. It is relatively soft once you start warming it up with your fingers. Then he's got a firm version that is firmer and will hold a little bit finer detail. And then he's got a product called Summer Firm, which will hold it's even firmer, and it will, even if your hands are really hot or if the temperature that you're working in is really hot, it doesn't get too soft to work with. So he's got those 3, and those are typical for sculpting, you know, all kinds of different sculptures. Let me just show you a picture first. I am not a sculptor myself. The most I've done in sculpting is with like sculpted flowers and sculpted beads and stuff. But if you go to his website at BeeSPutty, BeeSPutty.com, you can check out some of his pictures there. But there's a lot of these pieces were done by himself or by others, and they're highly detailed sculptures of all kinds of faces and different characters and things. It's a very, very neat plastic putty that he's designed here. Now, he was doing his sculptures mostly in epoxy putty, which is a 2-part putty that you mix together to make your pieces, your armatures, and your different sculptures with. But the problem with epoxies is that it hardens up rock hard. And so you have to work with it really quickly, and you can't just leave your project sitting there. Then he was also working with polymer clays, but polymer clay, when you sculpt with it doesn't move the same way as working with beeswax. I guess beeswax is the nicest to work with. You can add layers. It's sticky enough to add new pieces to it and to sculpt it. And he just couldn't get polymer clay to act that way. So he designed this product just for that. And it's really very neat. Okay, so he has the 3 basic sculpting putties in the different forms. Then he has these other colors that he's started to put together. So he has 3 opaque colors, opaque white, bone, and he's got a new gold clay. And I baked up all these different samples here, and I rolled them out at different thicknesses so that we could see what it looked like and see the transparency of it. So here's the white clay, and you can see when it's been baked up, it doesn't shift color at all, and that's partly because of the low temperature that it's baked at, which is 115 Celsius or 239 or 240 Fahrenheit. So that's quite a low temperature, but it bakes up quite firm, a little bit flexible here. And I've got a sample we'll test for actual strength in a minute. But these colors here are very opaque, so you can't really see any light through them, and they're full, dense, rich colors. Now the bone here has kind of little flecks and stuff in it. So if you're working on a project that you really wanted to look like bone, it would be a great one to work with. Now the gold here that they have has a lot of mica in it, and I don't know if he's going to be bringing in more colors with the metallics, but it sure is beautiful. It's really rich and dense in the pearl metallic mica powders and stuff. Then the rest of his color line is translucent. So they're all translucent based colors. Here is the white translucent. It is fantastic. It doesn't plaque at all. If you're familiar with working with translucent clays, a lot of them will get what we call a plaquing or mooning, where you get little marks in it where the clay kind of breaks away and flakes away in the inside. So this, for the translucent clay here, and also in the color that he's got called Skin, would make wonderful doll clay because it wouldn't leave any little flaws in it. Also, I'm going to experiment more with it, but it would make some of our faux stones and stuff would probably do very well with the translucent. I'll just show you how thin. This is a very, very thin piece here. And we'll just put it on top of his printout here. And you can see it's quite translucent. It's still quite frosted. Not totally clear like glass or anything, but none of the polymer clays that I've ever worked with are totally clear. But it's really quite even and lovely looking. So he's got a color here called Skin. Now you could tint your skin. Obviously all skin isn't the same color, but you could tint it using some of the browns or the yellows or the whatever colors that you need to get your skin color. Here, this color's called brown. This one's black. This one's called pink. I would consider this one a magenta. This is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. They're all just the basics. And I did a quick little test to mix some of the colors together. So I did one part of the blue and one part of the yellow, and I got this really dark green color. So the colors do mix really well. So you could do lots of mixing and experimenting with it. You can see on some of these really thin colored pieces that they're quite translucent. I'll hold it up to the light. Hopefully Doug will be able to see, but you can see quite a bit of light through that. So you could get some very cool effects. I'm thinking that this clay would work very nicely with doing flowers and sculpted pieces. Now, like I've said, I'm not really a sculptor, but I did make up just like a little branch here and baked it up. It seems quite firm. It holds the detail quite well. I've got little lines on where the rings of the log are, and you know, the little bark and stuff like that. So it holds the detail really quite nicely. And the neat thing about this clay is that it's super sticky. For sculpting, that is a good feature, because say you're making a little tree or something and you want to add a new branch, you could, even after it's baked, you can add another branch to it quite simply. I've got pink out here, so I wouldn't normally put a pink branch on, but why not? It sticks beautifully right to the baked clay, to raw clay, and you can add your pieces on real easily, and it blends in really nicely and smoothly. So it's really neat to work with as far as adding pieces on. After it's baked, so you can bake it as many times as you like. So you can keep adding your features. You could start off with an armature like a lot of clay sculptors do. They have a wire armature. You can cover it in your BeeSPutty, bake it, and add new layers really, really easily. Another thing is that after it's baked, you can carve it, you can drill it, you can sand it. It cuts really nicely with a knife. So if you want to like remove parts of it or cut edges on it, or carve at it. You can do that really easily with a blade. So it's got quite a nice density to it. Another interesting feature is that it totally buffs up right after it's been baked, just with either a soft brush. He uses like a soft toothbrush to buff it up and get a shine on it. But I actually found that just a piece of cloth or denim or anything will get a really nice shine on it really, really quickly. So for your sculptures and things, all you'd need to do is, you don't even really have to finish it. All you need to do is just buff it up, get into the little detailed areas with a brush and get a really neat waxy kind of shine to it. Now let's just test for strength here. I baked up a piece here at, what was it, 240 Fahrenheit, so 115 Celsius, and I baked it for the recommended half an hour. And we've got, oh, it has broken there. Quite fairly easily, actually. But he was telling me that if you bake it for longer, so I'm going to have to bake it for longer than that to get some more strength with it, you can get more strength with it. He's also got a new product that is baked at a slightly higher temperature. It's called Summer Firm Extra, I believe. So extra firm. And that one is supposed to be baked at 240, which is a little higher. I mean, not 240, 140 Celsius, so whatever that is, Fahrenheit. And apparently that is really very strong. We'll try one of these thin pieces and see. Oh yeah, that's breaking too. Oh, too bad. Maybe I should have baked that one a little longer than the 30 minutes. But that's something that I would have to test a little bit further to get a good handle on. But any of you that are interested in sculpting and that kind of thing, this is a very unique product. It's beautiful. The feel of it is really beautiful. And I have enjoyed playing with it and getting to know it. Now, if you want to check out the product, it is at BeeSPutty.com, and he's in Germany. He ships internationally, and I think he has some distributors in other locations as well. So if you want to check that out, it is a little bit more expensive than regular polymer clay, but it has the features that a sculptor would be very interested in. All right, so I hope you found that helpful, and if you did, do let us know if you like this video. And if you have a product you'd like me to test, something you'd like to learn more about, do let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget, we have absolutely tons and tons of videos where we've tested out products, we've tried new things, done lots of different techniques that you may want to check out. All right, so we will see you in the next, in another time. All right, bye for now.